Hey guys, today I'm filming my version of the Sephora VIB sale recommendations video for fall of 2023. I'm not going to be talking about my wish list because I do plan on purchasing most of the things on there. And I have been telling you guys along the way, every month in my makeup rehab series, the items that are being added to my wish list. So I will have that linked in case you are curious and you want to check that out. But I will definitely do a haul once I get my products in, and then I'll probably do a first impression try on video as well. But I know there have been a million sale recommendations videos, so if you've watched this, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And because there's so many, I wanted to put a little bit of a spin on it, and this is really inspired by It's Just Steph. She did a best and worst from 20 different brands at Sephora, and for me, I'm going to be giving you some really quick thoughts on every product that I own from Sephora that you cannot also get at Ulta, or else we'd be here all day long. And that means I won't be talking about Pat McGrath, even though some products are not at Ulta yet. Natasha Denona, Hourglass, Tarte, Too Faced, you know, those type of brands. And that's just because I prefer shopping at Ulta over Sephora. And Ulta is not good about sending out coupons throughout the year, but around the holidays, they will usually do a couple different 20% off coupons to everyone. So especially if you are not Rouge, if there's a product that you can get at Ulta, I would say if you're able to just hold out a little bit longer and pick up the product from Ulta for 20% off. Although they had done at Ulta 20% off coupons in the past month or so, which is exciting. So hopefully more to come. And they should do that anyway to try to compete with the Sephora sale. But I'm going to be popping up some pictures on the screen. We're going to go category by category. I'm going to try to be quick. So starting with face primers, I only have two pictured here, but I did recently try the Glowish Blur Jam. I ended up returning it and it was just okay. I do not get the hype. Same with the Caliray So Blown blurring primer. That's just meh for me. I do quite like the Glow Recipe Strawberry BHA Pore Smooth Blur Drops. It's not life-changing, but out of those three primers, that is the one that I would recommend the most and that I enjoy the most. Next, we have foundations and skin tints. I have 5 that I am not able to get at Ulta. The Lawless Conceal the Deal, I don't have a good shade for me, so that throws me off a little bit. I think it's all right, but I don't think it's necessarily amazing. The NARS Soft Matte Complete Foundation. If you're wanting a full coverage matte foundation, this is a great one. Kosas Revealer Skin Improving Foundation. I just used that up earlier this year. This is a great medium coverage foundation with more of a natural finish. Pretty long wearing. And then we have the Rare Beauty Skin Tint, more of a light medium coverage, natural finish, but it wore pretty well on me also. I also finished that one earlier this year. And then right now I'm currently panning the Caliray Free Dreaming Skin Tint. I recommend Rare Beauty over the Caliray. I like the way that it looks on my skin, the way it wears. It is cheaper by a good bit and it comes in more shades. So out of the 5 of these, I really recommend the 3 in the middle, just depending on your preferences. Then for concealer, I have 3 pictured here, but I did also recently try out the Say Hydra Beam Concealer. Return that as well. I think it is terrible. It has like oil on the wand, but yet it's almost like a dry oil. I feel like the product dried down too quickly. I wasn't really able to blend in. It looks super dry and patchy under the eyes. I think that's terrible. I earlier this year used up the Kosas Revealer Concealer. Great medium coverage, natural finish. I think that is a great concealer that would work well with a skin tint or a more full coverage foundation. Tower 28 Swipe Up Serum Concealer, the Coffee Made Match Concealer. I think both of these are good. The Tower 28 is a little bit thinner and the Coffee has a little bit of a tack to it, but they're both really good, more medium coverage concealers, but I do like the Kosas better personally. Next, we've got powders and setting spray. For powder, I have the Kosas Cloud Set and the Lawless Perfecting Powder. The Lawless one does give some nice coverage. It is a little bit powdery. I don't think it's necessary. I feel like the Maybelline Fit Me pressed powder is also really good, and the Lawless isn't quite necessary. I do think that the Kosas is more of a unique powder. It is really good for people that have dry skin, but if your brush has any, you know, of your oils on it or like wet makeup. Like if your foundation's too dewy and you're using this powder, you're going to get hard pan. And it's something that I will use up, but I most likely won't repurchase because of my skin type. And then I have the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. I don't get the hype on this one whatsoever. I say just go with the Urban Decay All Nighter. Then for cheek products, for cream bronzers, I have 7, and I actually have a couple of these in multiple shades. So the Rare Beauty bronzer stick, I have this in 2 shades. I don't like either of them. Power Boost is too olive tone, Happy Soul is too red tone for me, and I find the formula to be a little bit patchy. The Merit bronzing stick is really nice. I'd say go a shade darker than you think because it is pretty sheer. It is a little bit glowy, but I find that it looks super natural on the skin, which is perfect for me. The Make It by Mario Skin Enhancer, also I'd say go a shade up because it's more sheer. I have the light medium color and I love it. This has more pigment than the Merit, but it is like a different format. Really good product though. Then the Kaja is a trio of a powder, highlight, powder, blush, and a cream bronzer. I do think that this is a very nice product. Then from Patrick Ta, I have She's Bronzed and She's Sculpted. She's Sculpted is a little bit more neutral leaning cool tone. I think these are really great. The cream and the powder I think are both sheer-ish, which is really nice. I'd say that they are buildable. Then for the Tower 28, we have the Sculptino, which is the cream finish, and then we have the Bronzino, which is the one with shimmer in it. I actually quite like the both of these and I would recommend them. They are not really like a dry down formula though, but I don't find them like super tacky. My powder goes on top of them just fine. So honestly, I like all of these except for the Rare Beauty, but so many people really love them. Then for cream and liquid blushes, I have 6 different formulas. The Patrick Ta I do think is very nice. I would say that the blushes are more pigmented than the bronzer duos, so be careful when using them. The Make It by Mario New Blushing Veils, I do think that this is very nice. Again, it isn't really like a cream to powder formula. It's just a cream, nice and buildable. I really like the color that I have. And then I have the Say Glow Sculpt maybe in the Coral Glow or Peach Glow color or whatever it is. And this is a super beautiful blush, and this is like a cream to powder formula. The colors in this line, they could definitely add some more because some of them are more highlighty shades, some are more bronzing, but I got more of a true blush shade. But I do think that's a nice formula. The Rare Beauty liquid blushes, I think that they are good, but I don't use mine very much. I'm a little bit scared of them. I don't find liquid blushes as easy to use as cream blushes. However, I am strongly considering getting their cheek set, which is really ridiculous of me. Then the Tower 28 cream blushes, I think they are nice, but a little too creamy for my liking. I prefer a cream to powder just because I have oily skin and I use a lot of powder. And then the Merit Beauty Flush Balms, I think are really nice. I think that they're sheer but buildable, and the newer shades they've added, Stockholm and Fox, I really do like those colors. But I would say, you know, evaluate how much product you get because I'm not sure how far it goes if you're digging it out, but it does not like twist up. The nub that you see is all that you get. And for powder bronzers, I just have 2. The Kosas Sun Show bronzer, I actually have in 2 shades. The lightest color Waves, the second color Beachy. And what's crazy is I actually wish I didn't buy either of these. They're not bad, but I have other glowy bronzers I like a little bit more, and they do have a like French fry oil type of scent to them. Kosas products just like don't smell right to me, and I do think it's a nice like decently subtle shimmer. The Waves color looks so good on Lauren Mae Beauty, and I wanted to try it on myself, and I feel like I need it to be just a little bit deeper and it would be perfect. So I kind of wish I didn't get either of them, but they're fine bronzers. Then the Huda Beauty Glowish. I am wearing this today. I do think it is fine. It's a bit more sheer. I feel like I need to use different brush because it's not as powdery as a lot of my other bronzers. I really liked it when I first got it. I think that this is fine, but not necessarily like one of my favorite bronzers ever. So I could probably do without these and wouldn't necessarily recommend picking them up. Then for blushes, surprisingly, only a couple that I can only get at Sephora that are favorites for me. The Haus Labs blush, I have Pomelo Peach. This is a very good blush. I love the color. The formula is nice. This is a super expensive blush, and I guess it comes with a lot of product, but I wish they, you know, if they needed to, would have made it smaller for it to be cheaper. So if you really love a color, go for it. Otherwise, I don't think it is really like that special of a formula. I have Dior Rosewood. This is fine. It's a pretty color. I don't really have anything quite like it in my collection, but I don't understand the Dior blush hype, so I would say pass. And then the Huda Beauty Glowish blush, I think also is fine, not amazing. Because I use more of a dense blush brush with it, I don't really have trouble with application. Then for powder highlighters, I have two. The Caliray highlight, I have the Moonlight Beach shade, the more pinky tone one. It is so beautiful. This is a really nice, more of a like metallic finish, but it is a thin formula, so it's not going to like sit heavy on the cheeks. It does come in one other color that I am tempted to get, more of like a warm tone shade, but I don't know if it would be too dark for me. I really wish they would add more shades to this line. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we have this Rare Beauty one, and this is the lightest of the four. This is a little icy for me. I think this would be a great inner corner highlighter, but I don't highlight my inner corner. But when I swatch this, it is thin, a little dry, and it really looks more glittery than shimmery. So if I had to pick between the two, I personally would go Caliray because of the formula. For brows, I don't have it pictured, but the Kosas Brow Pop pencil, more of like their thicker pencil, I think is fantastic. I loved the honey blonde color. It worked so well for me. And the shape of this is fantastic because I, on a daily basis, use Benefit Precisely My Brow and Goof Proof. I feel like this is the perfect middle between them. And for my brows, I'm able to use the Kosas to line and fill just by itself, and it works really well. Then we have their Air Brow Tinted Gel and their Air Brow Clear Gel. The Clear Gel does not have a super strong hold like the ABH brow gel does, so I would pick ABH over the Kosas. I just had a little sample. And then the Air Brow Tinted Gel I do think is fine. It's a good gel. Again, doesn't have crazy hold, and I prefer the Benefit Gimme Brow because there are some fibers in there, but this one is fine too. For palettes, again, I only have a couple of palettes and brands that I'm only able to get at Sephora. First, we have Milk Cosmetics Gemini 2. Now, my palette, knock on wood, which none of these things are wood, but you know, it's the thought that counts. Girl, I am so fortunate. My palettes don't have mold, but my friend Jean's have. I've seen countless people with some of their shimmer shadows having mold in them. It blows my mind because their shimmers are not a wet formula like other brands like Adept Cosmetics, which theirs are like particularly wet, but these just aren't. They're a very, you know, dry powder shadow, so it really makes no sense. And I don't know why that like all of a sudden over the past like year and a half started happening to Melt and not in the past, but because of that, I would say don't get it. But I love the color story of this palette, so I'm really happy that I have mine. If you're interested, proceed with caution. I do know a lot of times though, the brand on different sales like Veterans Day, Memorial Day, things like that, the brand will go like 40–50% off at Sephora, so probably hold out for a sale like that. The Patrick Ta palette, I have got the Rosy one, volume 2. Guess what? I don't get it. I don't love the cream shades because I don't use matte cream shadows. I use shimmery cream shadows, and the texture of them is too thin. I don't feel like it would work well as a gel liner type of product. The shimmers are chunky, the mattes are fine. I'm happy that I have this palette, but I don't reach for it a ton. I definitely need to make myself pull it out, and maybe I'll change my mind, but the shimmers are more chunky than I typically like. Then we've got the Huda Beauty palettes. I really like all of her larger ones. I have all of them except the one from last year. The shades are just a little bit too dark for me. Naughty Nude is amazing. I really love that color selection. Out of her mini Obsessions palettes, I don't like any of them except for the nude ones, and I think that they're all really great. Then for single shadows and mascaras, I have the Kaja Stack in Peach Madeline. I absolutely love that one. You've got 2 shimmers and a matte, but the shimmers are different finishes. I really like them. I did a couple months ago test out their 2 newest stacks, and I don't recommend those though. The mattes had some glitters in them, and the first shade was just like too thick and chunky, but the all shimmer ones I think have great formulas, and then some of the ones that have matte shades in them I think are really good too, but this one is definitely my favorite for spring. The Coffee Zari Eyes Cream Shadow I thought was just okay. Once you have it on the eye, I don't think it looks that amazing, and I'm glad that I was able to test it out because I originally wanted more shades, but I don't get the hype personally. It's just like a regular cream shadow. And then the Merit Solo Shadows, it's not my thing. Again, like I said, don't prefer matte cream shadows, and I had a little bit of trouble blending it, but I also think it's just I need to use more to get used to it. Then for mascaras, the Ilia Limitless Lash. I think this is okay. It has a bit of a pokey wand, nice for length, but I just have other things I prefer. The Rare Beauty mascara, I actually do think is really nice for volume and some thickness. That is something that I would recommend. Moving on to lips. For lip balms, we have the Lawless Forget the Filler Overnight Lip Plumping Mask and the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask. This one is particularly the peppermint scent. I really like both of these. The Lawless does have that plumping quality in case you wouldn't like that, but I find these both to be very hydrating. You're going to get more for your money with the Laneige, but I do think both of those are good. For lip liner, we have the Tower 28 Multi-Liner, which is supposed to be able to be used on eyes, cheeks, and lips. I prefer it just on the lips. It is very creamy though, even though it is a wooden pencil. I do like the colors that they offer, though I think it would be great to add some more, so I do think that's a good one. The Rare Beauty lip liners, this is a twist up. I have the color Humble. I do think that this is nice as well. And then the Lawless Forget the Filler lip liners, these are really creamy. I would say even a little bit more creamy than the Tower 28. They come in a lot of shades. It's a really nice formula. I think all of these are great, but I'm honestly just fine with my ColourPop lip liner. So only if there's a color that you really want or you're just really interested in the formula. For bullet lipsticks and jumbo lip crayons, we have Charlotte Tilbury. I have a little mini in Pillow Talk. I think this is a very pretty shade. I believe that Milani Secret is supposed to be a dupe, and I think it's fine, not quite worth the money, but I'm very picky about bullet lipsticks. The Rare Beauty one in the shade Humble, I think it's a beautiful color. I do think this is a really nice formula, and Rare Beauty has a pretty good price, so if you're looking for more of like a lightweight satin matte lipstick, I would recommend this if you see a color you like. Out of the lineup, I wanted to like Worthy, which is supposed to be the more mauve tone, but the undertone wasn't quite what I wanted. The Lawless Forget the Filler lipsticks I think are good. I would say that they are very similar to the satin finish lipsticks from MAC. Not quite fallen in love yet, but I have plenty more shades to try. I was lucky enough to get an NPR. The Kosas Wet Stick lipstick, I think I like the color that I have, but this is a very thin formula, a little too like slippery greasy for me, so not my favorite. Then we've got the Makeup by Mario Moisture Glow Plumping Lip Serums. I love this. I have 6 of them, 3 with shimmer, 3 that are just the creams. These can be a little bit messy, but out of these similar formulas, this really is my favorite. I like the menthol scent and feel, and I like the texture on my lips. The Tower 28 Juice Balm is a nice jumbo lip crayon. Nothing super special though. It is also a little bit on the thinner side. And Happy I Have It is pretty inexpensive, but not a must-have for me. Then we've got more of like a random lip category. The Rare Beauty Tinted Lip Balm is very pigmented, but again, a little bit more on the thin side. It actually reminds me a lot of that Kosas lipstick. The Lawless Forget the Filler Tinted Balms, I don't really like these. I find them to be very stiff, not super pigmented, and not very hydrating. And my friend Lauren used one up, and I asked her like, oh, like as you wore it more, did you like work it in and make it creamier? She said not really, so I would love if they could just tweak that formula a bit. Rare Beauty Tinted Lip Oil is more of a glossy stain. I do quite like these. I think the shades are nice and I do enjoy the formula. Then you have the Kaja Jelly Stain. It's a really similar formula, so it really kind of depends on the shade that you like, but the formulas are super similar. And then the Sephora Rouge Creme lip stain I think is amazing. A really pretty comfortable fully set down liquid lipstick formula. Comes in a lot of shades, so I would recommend that. Lastly, we have the glosses. The In Beauty Project lip oil. This was a candy cane scent that came out maybe 2 years ago. And I want to try some of their other more tinted ones. I'm interested in their holiday set. This is for a lip oil, a little bit thicker. There's a little bit of tack to it to help it stay on the lips. I feel very similarly about the Kaja formula. It just doesn't have shimmer. Some of the Kaja ones are more sheer. Some have a little color to them. A little sticky, but not terrible. The Merit lip oils are very thin and slippery. They do give more color though. The Make It by Mario, I don't remember the name of this, Moisture Glow Lip Color. This is like a lip lacquer formula. I heard a lot of bad things about this formula, but I really like the color that I have. I find it to be flattering, but I'm not gonna buy any more. The Kosas Wet Lip Oils feels more like a thin, smooth, creamy gloss. I don't find it to actually feel like a lip oil. I really like the ones that are the cream finish, not really the shimmers. I wish the scent was different. It smells like plastic and MAC vanilla. I don't actually like MAC vanilla. So if we could take out the scent, I would love this formula. The Lawless Forget the Filler glosses I think are very nice. They do have a plumping quality without being minty or having a cinnamon scent to them. And they have a super glossy shine to them. They are a little bit thicker and a little sticky as they wear off. Caliray, I don't love that it's in a squeeze tube, but because the squeeze tube is smaller, the applicator I feel is precise enough. And this is just like a typical gloss formula. The Kaja Gloss Shot is nice as well. It is more like a light medium opacity and it's a little bit stickier than I prefer. Tower 28 is definitely my favorite formula. They do have nice opacity. The more milky shades have more pigment than the regular, more jelly ones. And nice and smooth formula, not sticky at all. Have a great amount of color. I really love these. And the shade I have pictured here is Chestnut, which was limited edition from 2 holidays ago, but they brought back that set again. If you've been interested in that shade, definitely pick it up this year. So guys, I'm sorry if I was talking really quickly. I was trying to get through that as fast as possible. Those are my thoughts on all the products that I own from Sephora that you cannot also get at Ulta. So I feel like I have some like hot takes. There are some products I don't like that other people really love, so take that with a grain of salt. Everybody has different preferences, but I would love to know what you are planning on picking up during the sale. I know I shouldn't, but I have a lot of Lippies on there that I'm really excited to try. I don't feel like I'm going too crazy with the amount of products, but I know it's going to end up still being pricey because 20% off, girl. Like, we get so excited about this sale, and then you add it to your cart, and then you add the coupon code, and you're like, what? It still costs that much? So girl, I know. But really looking forward to picking up whatever I choose and testing it out for you guys. I hope you all enjoyed my version of this video. And again, I appreciate you so much for watching it because I know there are a million of these. So thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.